When you work in operational technology, OT, one of the most valuable security truths is that you cannot protect what you never notice, and noticing often starts with simple, disciplined observation. Beginners sometimes assume that surveillance means cameras everywhere and fancy analytics. But in real facilities, surveillance and inspection are as much about routine attention as they are about technology. OT environments are physical spaces where assets can be touched, moved, unplugged, or altered, and many serious security problems begin as small physical changes that go unnoticed until they create larger consequences. Surveillance and inspection provide a way to reduce that blind spot by making the environment observable in the physical sense, not just the network sense. Walkdowns, video, motion detection, and spectrum analysis each contribute a different kind of visibility, and together they help you detect tampering, unauthorized access, suspicious behavior, and even accidental changes that could undermine safety or segmentation. The goal is not to create paranoia or to watch people for its own sake, but to create trustworthy evidence and early warning signals that support safe decisions. In an OT setting, early detection often prevents a small problem from becoming a shutdown, and it can also provide clarity during incidents when uncertainty is the biggest enemy. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is a companion to our course companion books. The first book is about the exam and provides detailed information on how to pass it best. The second book is a Kindle-only ebook that contains 1,000 flashcards that can be used on your mobile device or Kindle. Check them both out at cyber.author.me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. Walkdowns are one of the most underrated security practices in OT because they are simple, low-tech, and deeply effective when done consistently. A walkdown is a structured physical inspection of a facility or a portion of a facility, where someone checks the state of rooms, cabinets, panels, and critical assets for signs of change. Beginners sometimes think walkdowns are only for safety or maintenance, but they are also a security control because many attacks and many mistakes leave physical traces. A cabinet door that is usually locked but now sits slightly open is a signal. A new cable that appears where no cable should be is a signal. A device plugged into a port that is usually unused is a signal. Even missing labels, moved equipment, or changed indicator lights can indicate that something happened that should be explained. Walkdowns also help validate assumptions that exist in diagrams but may not match reality. If a network map says a room is restricted, but the door is propped open, that map is lying in practice. The power of walkdowns is that they turn physical reality into data, and that data can be used to strengthen both security and reliability. To make walkdowns valuable, they should be structured enough to be repeatable, but not so rigid that they become a checkbox ritual that nobody takes seriously. The best walkdowns focus on high-value areas like control rooms, network closets, cabinet rows, engineering workstations, and cable pathways that support segmentation and monitoring. Beginners should understand that the purpose is not to inspect every square foot every day, but to inspect the places where small changes can have large consequences. Walkdowns also build human familiarity with normal conditions, and that familiarity is a powerful form of detection because people who know the environment notice subtle deviations. Another important point is that walkdowns support auditability because they can produce a record that a space was checked and found normal at a particular time. During an incident, being able to say the control cabinet was sealed at noon but disturbed by 4 o'clock narrows the investigation window dramatically. Walkdowns can also reveal non-malicious issues like water leaks, corrosion, or failing locks that increase security exposure over time. In OT, preventing those gradual degradations is part of maintaining a defensible environment. Video surveillance is a more familiar tool, and its value in OT security comes from deterrence, verification, and evidence. Cameras can discourage casual, unauthorized behavior because people are less likely to take risks when they know actions are recorded. Cameras can also provide verification during incidents, such as confirming whether someone entered a room, opened a cabinet, or approached a sensitive area at a certain time. That verification is important because many security investigations stall when teams cannot prove whether physical access occurred. Beginners should also recognize that video is not only for catching intruders, it can validate legitimate activity too. If a vendor technician is scheduled to work in a panel area, video can confirm the technician's presence, the timing, and whether the technician accessed areas outside the approved scope. This can protect both the organization and the technician by reducing ambiguity. Video also supports recovery, because if a suspicious change is found, reviewing footage may show whether the change was accidental, maintenance-related, or unauthorized. The goal is to integrate video into a broader evidence system, not to treat it as an isolated security gadget. The effectiveness of video depends on thoughtful placement and operational integration, because poorly designed camera coverage can create a false sense of security. A camera that points at a hallway but not at the cabinet doors might record lots of movement without capturing the key action. A camera with poor lighting may be useless when needed most. A camera system without reliable time synchronization may make correlation with cyber logs difficult, and correlation is often how you interpret incidents. Beginners should also understand that video produces a lot of data, and if nobody knows how to retrieve it quickly or how long it is retained, it may not help during investigations. Video is most valuable when it is associated with critical entry points and high-risk assets, such as doors to control rooms, entrances to MDF and IDF spaces, and cabinet rows serving sensitive segments. It is also valuable when access logs can be correlated with video, because access logs show a badge event and video shows whether tailgating occurred or whether the person matched the badge identity. That combination strengthens accountability and reduces the chance that a shared badge or borrowed credential goes unnoticed. In OT, that clarity can prevent a security issue from becoming a prolonged mystery that forces conservative shutdown decisions. Motion detection is another tool that helps reduce blind spots, and it can be surprisingly effective in environments where certain areas should be quiet outside of specific maintenance windows. Motion sensors can trigger alerts when someone enters a restricted zone after hours, when a cabinet area is approached unexpectedly, or when a normally unoccupied corridor has activity. For beginners, it is important to see motion detection as a way to create early warning, not as a replacement for good access control. A locked door and a badge system provide prevention, while motion detection can provide detection when prevention is bypassed. Motion detection can also detect activities that badge systems might not, such as someone entering through an emergency exit or someone moving within an area after being admitted legitimately, but then accessing zones outside their scope. It can also help detect accidental issues like doors left open, because motion in an area that should be secured can indicate that an access boundary is not being enforced in practice. The key is that motion detection provides a signal that something is happening physically, which can prompt verification, and verification is often what prevents small issues from becoming large incidents. In OT, where physical access can quickly translate into cyber impact, that early physical signal can be extremely valuable. Motion detection also comes with a beginner trap, false alarms, and alarm fatigue. If sensors are placed in areas with frequent legitimate movement, alerts may become so common that people stop paying attention. In OT, the goal is to use motion detection where the meaning of motion is high, such as near critical cabinets, in rooms that should be accessed only by a small group, or during time periods when movement should be rare. Sensible tuning includes aligning alerts with maintenance schedules, using zones, and ensuring that response procedures exist. A motion alert that nobody can respond to is not helpful, because it creates noise without action. Beginners should also understand that motion detection should be paired with other evidence sources, such as video, badge logs, and walkdown findings. A motion alert might suggest someone entered a room, and video might confirm who it was, while access logs might confirm whether entry was authorized. Together, these sources create a stronger picture than any single sensor. The overarching lesson is that detection systems must be designed for human response, not just for technical capability. Spectrum analysis is less familiar to many beginners, but it is an important concept in modern facilities because wireless signals and electromagnetic activity can create both operational risk and security risk. Spectrum analysis is the practice of observing and analyzing radio frequency activity to understand what wireless devices are present, what signals are being transmitted, and whether there are unusual transmissions that could indicate unauthorized devices or interference. In OT environments, wireless can include legitimate technologies such as industrial wireless sensors, handheld radios, Wi-Fi networks, and sometimes specialized links for monitoring or maintenance. Unauthorized wireless devices, like rogue access points or unauthorized hotspots, can create hidden pathways into networks or create shadow communication that bypasses normal controls. Interference can also cause reliability issues, such as dropped wireless sensor readings, which can affect process decisions. Spectrum analysis helps by making the invisible visible. It shows what signals are in the air. For beginners, it is helpful to think of spectrum analysis as a kind of walkdown for wireless, where instead of looking for a new cable, you look for a new signal. In OT, where stability is valued, a new signal can be a meaningful anomaly that deserves explanation. The value of spectrum analysis grows when you connect it to the idea of baselines and anomalies. If you know what wireless signals should exist in a particular area, then you can detect when something new appears or when signal patterns change unexpectedly. For example, if a restricted area should have no Wi-Fi, but a strong Wi-Fi signal appears, that is a red flag. If a critical wireless sensor network experiences interference patterns that were not present before, that might indicate a malfunctioning device, environmental changes, or malicious interference. Beginners should understand that spectrum analysis is not only about catching spies. It is also about maintaining operational reliability by identifying sources of interference. It can also support incident response by helping determine whether an attacker introduced a wireless device to create a covert channel or to bypass wired segmentation. In facilities where physical access is possible, a small wireless device can be concealed and left behind, which makes wireless monitoring important. Spectrum analysis is a way to reduce that risk by making unauthorized wireless harder to hide. It also supports the broader goal of trust you can prove, because you can demonstrate what wireless activity was present at a given time. Surveillance and inspection work best when they are integrated into a consistent operational rhythm, because sporadic attention creates gaps that attackers and accidents can exploit. Walkdowns provide regular human observation of physical conditions and can catch subtle changes that sensors miss. Video provides persistent recording and helps reconstruct events when questions arise. Motion detection provides immediate signals in areas where movement is meaningful and should be rare. Spectrum analysis provides visibility into the wireless environment, which can reveal hidden pathways and interference. Beginners should see that these tools complement each other. A walkdown might find a cabinet seal broken. Video might show when it happened and who was present. Motion logs might show after-hours activity, and spectrum analysis might detect a rogue wireless device nearby. Together, they form a coherent evidence chain that supports confident action. Without that integration, each tool can generate data that sits unused or creates confusion. In OT, confusion is costly because it leads to overreaction or delay, both of which can harm operations. A crucial part of applying these techniques in OT is respecting privacy, culture, and operational reality while still maintaining security integrity. Surveillance should be focused on protecting critical assets and safety-relevant areas, not on monitoring people for its own sake. Clear communication about why controls exist can improve trust and reduce resentment, which reduces the temptation for workarounds. Procedures should be designed so that legitimate work is supported, such as ensuring maintenance teams can perform necessary tasks without triggering constant alarms, while still preserving accountability. Beginners should also understand that surveillance and inspection are most effective when they feed into response processes. If a walkdown finds an anomaly, there should be a clear method to report it, document it, and verify whether it aligns with approved work. If video or motion alerts indicate unusual activity, there should be a method to verify authorization and escalate appropriately. If spectrum analysis reveals a new signal, there should be a method to identify the source and determine whether it is permitted. The point is not to create a pile of observations. The point is to create actionable intelligence that supports safe operation. When the processes exist, technology becomes useful rather than noisy. Ultimately, surveillance and inspection in OT are about building a physical layer of observability that matches the physical stakes of the environment. Walkdowns teach you what normal looks like and help you notice small changes before they become major problems. Video provides evidence and verification that reduces uncertainty during incidents and discourages casual misuse. Motion detection creates timely signals in areas where unauthorized presence can quickly lead to cyber and physical impact. Spectrum analysis reveals the wireless environment, helping detect hidden devices and interference that could undermine both security and reliability. The common thread is trust you can prove, the ability to point to evidence that the environment was intact, that access was authorized, and that anomalies were recognized and addressed. For new learners, the takeaway is that physical security is not complete with locks alone, because locks prevent some actions but do not explain what happened when something goes wrong. Surveillance and inspection fill that gap by providing visibility and accountability. When you apply these practices thoughtfully, you reduce blind spots, shorten investigations, and strengthen the facility's ability to operate safely even when threats and mistakes are part of the reality.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.